I'm the guy who invented the thing that's gonna take us out of this place. If you could read my mind, you would know what kind of pajamas I want when it comes to bedtime. Footy, 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 footy pajamas. Footy, 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 footy pajamas. Footy, 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 footy pajamas that let me be what I want to be.
This episode,
I have a question.
never mind.
This episode brought to you by 7-Up.
That's what I was
Did I take your joke? Thank
That's
you.
what I was
You're
trying to
welcome.
say.
Yeah. Heck yeah! What's up?
That's the intro right there.
Woo!
No, that's not the intro.
It's not the intro.
That'll
Not
be
the
on
intro.
some kind of blooper reel.
Not the intro.
I was just making a joke, dude. I was just
Gosh
making a
dang it,
joke.
Ian.
And
Yeah.
you're making it super serious.
Yeah. Ian, what happens if a bat comes back in here?
I don't know.
I've no, like, legit, I don't come in the basement anymore.
Really?
Yeah. Just don't anymore. Like, I thought about doing some of that stand-up, and, like, remember I said, like, I might try to get something up over there and, like, record stand-up or something, and, like, see what I can do with that video or audio. I thought about it. Didn't do it because, like, freaking out, there's wildlife in my basement. Bye.
That's fair.
Never coming back down here alone again, ever. I guarantee it. For the rest of the time I live here. So, as you start coming over, I'm just gonna start doing laundry. Once I get like a washer and dryer here, and laundry, like it's down here, like I'm only gonna do laundry when Ian's here to record.
What
the
if
show.
something happens and I can't come here?
Then I'm dirty clothes. I don't care. I'm not See, the opposite of you, not prideful. But what is there's a psych quote where he says something hilarious. Oh, he's like, Gus like says like, you're just being prideful or whatever, and he's like, Gus, I found the jeans that I'm wearing in a garage. Not a garage sale, a garage. Clearly pride is not my issue. I think that's a very good quote. Hey Ian, what is this show?
Hold on. Let me do my Marcus impression. And then cough really loud into the mic. No. This is Let Me Pitch This to You, the Idea podcast.
Real
Marcus,
quick,
what do we do
I'm
on the
gonna
show?
interrupt Ian on purpose, real quick. Like this is an intentional interruption. Screw you, Jeremy. In all fairness, Ian, one podcast I tried to turn off my mic every time I coughed and/or burped, and what happened to the audio? It all got scrapped. So I'm never, ever, ever, ever gonna do that again. Switch
That's
mics
fair.
into one I can cough away from.
Well, the audio on my mic was bad too, so that might not have been that. I don't know what
I
happened.
feel like it has to be connected though, because it only went bad like that on one episode, and it happened to be the episode where it was constantly the whole time turning on and off.
Might have been mine. Maybe mine was turned off too. I don't know. It was a weird fluke. But
Speaking
anyway.
of Fluke, have you seen, like, what's your opinion on Spy Kid movies and the Fluke character?
Fluke character.
Is it Floop?
I haven't seen those movies in years. Is he in? Which one is he in?
The first? All
First
of them?
one?
He's the bad guy. Oh, the kind of bad guy? Well, the bad guy in the first one's Monk,
Mm-hmm.
but the guy they think is the bad guy, who wears the
I don't
purple
remember.
suit and is all crazy.
I don't remember him.
Hey,
I'm gonna have to watch it
For
again.
you cool kids who love Spy Kids, one.
I haven't watched Spy Kids. I'm gonna have to go watch that now.
Is
I'm
it
gonna-
Floop or Fluke?
It's gotta be Fluke. But I don't
Oh.
know. My favorite one was Spy Kids 2, though. That's the one where they go to the island, right? Yeah, with the monsters. I
Oh,
liked
yeah.
that one. Because I liked how like then they got their own little monsters and like they fought with them. It was like kind of
liked-
Pokemon-esque.
Yeah, and I liked how, there's a weird random part where they just fight a bunch of skeletons. That
Yeah.
makes not a whole lot of contextual sense in the movie.
Dude, that whole series doesn't make any sense at all. So
No, Spy
I'm okay
Kids
with that.
3 is a true story about video games in that year
That's true.
that it came out.
I don't remember that
I
one
like
very well.
I
either.
like
I'm
how
gonna
you
have to
nodded
watch it.
like definitely true. Real life fact. That whole Spy Kids 1 and 2 bull crap. Spy Kids 3 happened. That's a documentary of real life events.
For sure. No, I'm gonna have to go back and watch 3. I don't remember 3 very well.
It's a video game one where they go inside
Yeah.
the video game.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't remember how it ends, but anyway.
Okay, what is this
Don't-
show? Did we tell them
Yeah,
that?
we already did.
Alright, I'm
Marcus,
Marcus.
what
I
do
don't
we
know
do
if
on
we
this
said
show?
my name. Oh, we say really dumb things mostly, but also we talk about stories and different pitches and ideas and stuff we've had, and try to get to be a part of the like a collaborative creating process.
Yep. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's it. And then you guys can vote on what idea you thought was better.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, who won last episode week?
We got one vote from Jeremy, and he basically, let me recap. He basically said, "Screw
Marcus is
you,
a trash-"
Marcus.
Said
You're,
Marcus
you're
is
a terrible podcaster.
He said,
Ian,
"Marcus,
your
you're a
idea was
dumpster."
okay because it inspired me to write my own idea, so that was pretty much it."
Yeah, he said, Marcus, you're a dumpster human. And then,
And no Matt's Majestic Mind. But to be fair, I got it up late. And then to be fair on my part, my car did get hit, so that kind of threw me for a loop.
I got it. Did the car hit you or your car? No, it hit your car. You're fine, Ian. Gosh, excuses.
So yeah.
Do you want to go first or second?
Well, I was thinking about that. If you guys remember from last episode, we both pitched an idea, obviously. We do that every episode.
We did the thing that we've been doing for 21 episodes now.
I didn't speak right. Excuse me. Marcus, don't cough into the mic. Dude, you
Whoops.
freaking idiot. Okay, so
I made
anyway.
a mistake.
So anyway, last episode we decided that my pitch that I did, Marcus had a similar idea once, and Marcus's pitch, I had a similar idea once. So we decided this episode we're going to swap, and I'm going to pitch my version of Marcus's idea, and Marcus is going to pitch his version of my idea. So I was thinking about that. I went first last time, and you went second.
So do we
want
want
to
the idea to go first, or you to go first?
Yeah.
Because, yeah,
That's what I was thinking. Like, so I don't care. I mean,
I can go first.
all right.
Okay, so, I guess it doesn't matter which one you watch first, but you should definitely, if you're going to only listen to 2 episodes of our podcast or
Watch these 2
it
episodes.
has to be, like, this would be this one or the next one. Or,
Also,
sorry,
the audio is
previous one.
progressively getting better, and the last one, the audio was probably the best one.
I don't know. I feel like the audio from, like, episode 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, the episode is best, I think, from
Before we
what I
started
remember.
doing video, the audio was pretty good.
Yeah, so I don't know what Ian did bad, but,
I don't know. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so my idea is going to start out with, like, a, sort of war. It's a, I feel comic book. It's going to be a comic book or, like, a cartoon show.
Okay.
But sort of in the vein of, like, a Teen Titans Go show, to where, like,
Okay.
it's less, like, or I guess kind of Phineas and Ferb.
Mm-hmm.
So it's less,
So when you say, like, Phineas and Ferb, you mean, like, super, like, they build roller coasters in the back? Like, super absurd things that would never happen that they do.
yes and no, but also more in the format of the show, being that, like, Phineas and Ferb was a half an hour long show. They did essentially, well, if you count commercials, it's like how, like, 20-something minutes.
Yeah.
So it essentially was a show that had, like, 2 10-minute stories.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be like that. So it's going to be less long form and more
Short form.
short form, to where, like, if there's a half an hour show, there'd be 2 stories per episode and they'd be like 10 minutes apiece.
Okay.
So it's gonna be like that, or a very small comic book, like a digital one usually, probably. But it's gonna start out and have like a sort of like a noir war journal thing kind of going on, being like day blah 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 of captivity, stuck in the torture chamber, and it's going to show. I think I wrote this down as a comic book pitch. Like, I have it on my computer, which I didn't have charged, so I didn't bring it down to actually, like, look at. So it's gonna be like a wide shot, like a wider panel. And it's gonna be a sort of like a gross looking structure, in a very dark and gloomy, but in a fantastical cartoony way.
Okay.
Of this thing kind of on a hill looming over a town.
Thank you for
And
popping into your arm and up the
you
mic.
made me get a mic that is attached to my person, to where when I turn and move directions, the mic goes with me.
You're the one that wanted to change the set and not have a desk. You're the...
We can have a mic
You-
that sits right here.
You watch any show where they sit across from each other like this, they have
Why do
wireless
we want to be like other shows?
I don't know. Okay,
So,
go ahead. Sorry.
So it's gonna be like blah blah blah, and then it's gonna zoom in and it's gonna show essentially a bunch of kids in a desk at desks
Mm-hmm.
with these torture devices, like holding their eyes open, like very very I drew a lot of inspiration from essentially Phineas and Ferb and cartoons. Not a cartoon, it's a comic strip. We both love it.
Oh, frick.
What was it called?
Is it in like...
Bill Watterson created it.
Oh, Calvin and Hobbes.
Yes, okay. So, thank you. Calvin and Hobbes.
I was going to say that, and then like my mind just... my mind... yeah.
Okay, so I drew a lot of inspiration from that. So, like, think like very much that kind of style. Very cartoony, very over the top. And essentially what's going to be going on is after you watch these group of kids in essentially desks, you're going to kind of gather, oh, it's school. And then it's going to the next panel, which I was going to be on a different page, so you have to turn the page to get the reveal.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to turn the page, and it's going to cut, and everything's going to be very normal and not gross and not fantastical with torture devices. It's just going to be kids at school. So you kind of get the immediate idea that this is just a kid with a hyperactive imagination sitting at school.
Very much like Calvin and Hobbes. Okay, I can picture that perfectly.
Yeah, like
yeah,
very, very Calvin Hobbes-esque, which is why, like, I think why I probably wrote it as a cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, I want to get a very cross between school being like prison and a torture, like a place like a concentration camp or something.
Yeah. Well,
Anytime-
way to bring up.
Anytime he's not at school, anytime he's not at school, I want to be like he's on like he's like a secret agent.
Okay.
So like he's like, let's say like one time like he's a secret agent, so he goes and like he has to break into this high security stockade, so he's like crawling around and doing all this stuff, and he essentially just like goes to the playground and sets off a bunch of fireworks on the playground and then leaves. Like kind of like that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And then his parents are also like his the governing head to his secret agency, so like after he does that, he then has to go home and deal with the consequences, so it's like he did a bad job on the mission and now he's getting like in trouble for it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Back to, so he's at prison for this particular pitch, I guess. So I kind of like, there's not like a whole lot to it essentially, but I want like a fun back and forth of kind of like him always being in this world, to where like there's not like he doesn't turn off his hyperactive imagination, to where like there will be times when he like, so let's say, again, this isn't
So
super
it's
well right now.
always in his imagination
No,
versus
no,
like
no.
Calvin
It's-
and Hobbes. It switches back and forth between reality and.
No, it's not. He is.
He is.
So occasionally, like when we're dealing with other characters, we will see things from the perspective. So I want him to have like this like very like nerdy best friend, and like in my head he has like these big square glasses and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Occasionally we will see the world and like what's going on from his perspective, and he sees it like a normal human being. So I'm picturing like we get scenes and things from like them like cutting class or something, and like we'll be seeing things from the perspective of our main character. Let's give him a name. Let's give both of the characters a name. The main character, what do you want his name to be?
Do you want it to be like a super typical kid's name, or like kind of
it's just a kid's name. Just a name for a boy.
Johnny?
Johnny. Okay. So Johnny and the nerd kid's name. Wendell. Got it.
Wendell.
Okay. So we'll be seeing things from Johnny's perspective, and he's like talking like, oh, like the warden's gonna like come and like find us, and like I'm trying to think of like other stuff, like we gotta be careful so like the guards. Shut up, stupid dog. Shut up, Whitaker. We gotta be careful so the guard dogs like don't like stay for contraband, and they have like candy in school or something. Like, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. But then in the same scenario, while he's talking about that, it'll cut to this kid, to Wendell, and Wendell's like, warden, you mean our teacher? And like, what? We have candy at school. Like, what's the big, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, essentially, have a straight man to his ridiculousness.
Okay.
Not how
Yeah.
ridiculous.
So
it
it's
is.
like if Calvin and Hobbes, if he had a best friend.
If he had a best friend, but Calvin
Yeah.
occasionally turns off his
I
turns
guess
off
you're
his
right.
imagination in the sense that like.
He'll be in
Yeah,
the real world
Yeah,
sometimes. Yeah.
sometimes.
Okay.
I mean, also he never turns it off because Hobbes is a stuffed animal.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. So like occasionally he's not like in a space story or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But Johnny never turns that off in the story.
Okay.
He's always in this fantastical fictional world that he's creating for himself, essentially, that's based on current events. Wendell, very much the opposite of that. He sees for everything how it actually is. But kind of the whole, I don't remember all the middle parts. I remember the beginning and the end to the actual thing I had, like, pitched. Because eventually I was like, hey, maybe if I get better as an artist, I can do a very cartoony style and make this a thing. The ending to this is they get into a fight with a bully,
Mm-hmm.
and then the bully kind of is about to beat up Wendell, and then you see from the perspective of Johnny has a buzzsaw arm that he finds. He jumps off of a table, ready to just beat them, like, to essentially kill the bully with his buzzsaw arm. It's going to hard cut to Johnny sitting in the principal's office next to Wendell, so we're going to be seeing things from Wendell's perspective, and Johnny's, like, all bummed out, and then, I don't remember the exact line, but you're going to be, like, have the mom and the, like, at the school talking to the principal, and, the mom's going to be like, wait, he attacked a kid with his fidget spinner? That's essentially, like, but, like, you know, like, that's the kind of world I want to play, but, like, yeah, I had, like, this whole idea of, like, oh, he has a bus, so, oh, it's a, like, so he essentially just throws a fidget spinner at the bully, but, like, yeah, I think that was a fun idea.
I like it. I like it especially because I loved Calvin and Hobbes so much.
Yeah, and so I guess, like, it's a little bit different, but very, very Calvin and Hobbes-esque, very Phineas and Ferb-esque, to where, like, things are gonna get crazy.
Yeah. And I like the idea of, like, the kid being in his own, you know, like, in his own imagination in the real world, just like my pitch last time, you know, the Calvin and Hobbes stuff.
Yeah, I like it how his never goes away, though. If you're seeing things from his perspective, and, like,
Never
even, like,
goes away,
even when, like, you see things from Wendell's perspective, like, they'll be, like, leaving school, or, like, trying to, like, leave school, and Wendell's like, okay, like, we have a doctor's note, but, like, since he's in his own fictional world and they're escaping prison, he's, like, running and hiding behind trees and bushes and stuff, and Wendell's just, like, walking like a normal person, while Johnny's, like, hiding, like, doing all this stuff, but, like, to see certain aspects like that from Wendell's perspective, where he just looks like a crazy, insane kid.
I got it. Title. It's called Agent Johnny.
Agent Johnny? It's not bad. It works.
I like it, though. Yeah. And you could make that a comic book pretty easily, because, I mean, I'm not saying, like, cartoons are easy to draw, but, like, you can draw a simple sketch of it, like, like, you could do a comic strip of it to get your point across, at least to get it started, you know, doing a comic strip versus trying to make, like, a whole issue, you know, that's however many pages long.
Yeah, it's a fun story, though. I was like, oh, like, this is cool. I think I called him Curtis Kreutz. I had a name for him. Curtis Kreutz was the name of the kid.
Curtis Kreutz. Yeah, that's good.
I liked it. Agent Kurt. Either way. Yeah.
Cool.
That's
Cut to
my
a
pitch.
commercial break?
Yeah.
All right, so I got
This episode brought to you by 7-Up. Oh.
Actually, I got a real commercial break. It's not really a commercial break, more just like an announcement to viewers. So, we got our episode up late this week, and like I've been doing all the editing and all that, and like,
Oh boy, I hope you're doing what I hope you're doing.
I've been using Windows Movie Maker because I have nothing else, and I want to get another software, but it's expensive. If any of you guys or viewers like have video editing software or know someone with it, or even would know like
How
could
to
give
pirate
us
it.
could give us some tips on editing, or would want to like maybe edit or
For
whatever
free.
for free on our show, but
Oh,
just kind of
boy.
like be it. But then the thing would be you'd be a part of our show. Then you'd be a part of the Let Me Pitch This To You team and all that.
Yeah, the team, and you get all the benefits that come along with that, like public ridicule every time you try to tell somebody to listen to your podcast, and they say, "Oh, it's bad and dumb."
I mean, I could still do the audio, but if whoever does video also knows about audio, that'd be nice too. So I just wanted to throw that out there. If you guys know anyone or whatever, we might be looking for someone to do that, or at least just like to give us some tips. You know, like, you know, maybe like a good software that's affordable. You know.
I also actually have like a legitimate commercial,
All right.
I guess. I've started another podcast.
Okay.
Um,
What, Marcus? You're cheating on me?
yeah, Ian. I'm stepping out. Experimenting with other people.
So this is an open relationship now, okay? We're gonna see other people.
Yeah. Yeah. Did I not make that clear when we started this? When we started
It's
this
okay.
a few months ago.
I've been writing my own new podcast as well.
Ian? You know what, Ian? It's not you, it's me. I think I'm out of jokes.
Carry on.
Essentially, I love to do podcasts and creative things and stuff, but kind of my rule, I started a few podcasts like a while back, and my problem was I didn't, like, there were already podcasts I knew a bunch that did what I was doing in those other podcasts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know any podcasts that are doing what we're doing with this one. So I kind of was like, even though I was like, I probably have time for like another podcast in the week and stuff, I didn't have an idea till fairly recently for like a different show like that I would do, even though I was like interested in doing it, but I was like, I don't want to do one just to do one. I want to have a legitimate idea that I like.
Yeah.
So being a sheltered homeschool kid, there's a lot of things that like you kind of like miss out on. They aren't necessarily bad, it's just kind of how it goes. One of those things that I kind of missed out on was most classic movies. There were a lot of movies that I've never seen that are considered classics. So what me and a friend of mine, Joe, who I've talked about Joe on the show and stuff before, and I helped him move and things, and we've started a podcast where it's called Worth the Hype, where essentially he's seen all these movies, I haven't. We do this thing for like the intro of that show is we like tell you introduction. This is Worth the Hype. I'm Joe. I'm Marcus. Whatever, and then through cultural osmosis, we say, Marcus, what do you know about this movie? What's the story of this movie, just from it being a classic and you existing in this world? What have you picked up about this movie? Tell me what it's about with the best of your knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
I do that. We watch the movie, then we talk about the movie and kind of give a few rundowns, our opinions, what we thought, and then ultimately wish to answer the question, was this movie worth all the hype? The first episode, we watched Back to the Future.
You've never seen I think you've said that before.
I've seen Back to the Future now, one time, as of, when did I record? Maybe Thursday?
Okay.
Maybe recorded
It's
Thursday?
a good movie.
It's a phenomenal movie. Big fan. Great movie. Loved it.
It's a great movie. The sequels are kind of, I like them.
Spoilers?
Kind of iffy.
Spoilers. We did say that one was worth the hype. That was. But yeah, like it was a phenomenal movie.
All right.
I thought.
So where can you find your podcast?
This is okay. So big branding issues. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Go to the YouTube channel that you're finding this episode at, being the Imagination Warehouse. It's gonna get posted under the same thing.
Okay.
Big branding moves.
Wait,
and when I
wait,
say that,
so
when I say that, I'm saying me and Ian have talked about this for a long time, never committed, and I am now committing on air.
That's okay. I've thought about doing that. So Let Me Pitch This To You is now going to be
yes.
Imagination Warehouse.
Yeah, so essentially what we're doing is, and this is a perfect time to talk about this.
Yeah.
Imagination Warehouse is going to be an umbrella brand for the creative endeavors of me and Ian and anybody else really who we know who kind of needs an outlet and we agree with their content essentially. So
yep. And for right now it's just a YouTube channel. We might eventually have a website.
Website and things,
but for now it's just a YouTube channel.
It'll grow.
Now the one thing is, have you already made a new YouTube channel, or are we gonna?
No, we have to do that before this episode goes up.
Okay, I didn't know. Yeah. All right.
All good, but like, yeah. So essentially, you'll still be watching Let Me Pitch This To You, and this will still be a show that you can watch. It'll just come out on a different channel, and if you like the sort of content and vibe me and Ian give off, you can find other things. Ian's interested in music and makes music sometimes. If you want to learn more about that stuff will go on Imagination Warehouse. If I have stand-up and stuff that I've talked about using and doing before. If you want to see my stand-up once I kind of get around to doing that consistently, or not consistently, but posting that, it'll go on the Imagination Warehouse. Other podcasts we do go on Imagination Warehouse, and then it'll be kind of like a network for these different programs to run on.
All right. Oh, and also I don't know if I can say this, but since we were talking about finding a tech person for this show, if you guys don't have a tech person for your new show, that could be something too. Like, just throwing that out there. Like, if we want someone to edit this show, Marcus, I don't know if your friend Joe, if he does, it's Joe, right, that you do the show? Okay.
Mhm.
I don't know if he knows how to do any of that kind of stuff, but, talk to Marcus about his new show, too.
Yeah,
If
you
you're
can
interested
get
in,
a hold of us at
editing.
letmepitchthistoyou at gmail right now.
Yep.
So, if you're interested in that, if you want to give us money,
You can also
dollars,
just call Marcus on his personal cell phone at
it's
712.8675309.
Oh, it's a good one, Ian.
Thank you. Air bump.
Yeah, we'll also take dollars.
Yep.
We'll Bitcoin,
We'll take Benjamins too.
food, shelter, clothes.
Just
There's
anything
not-
really,
there's not
so
a
I don't
whole
have
lot-
to wear the same shirt and
There's
jeans.
not a whole lot we won't accept as payment.
Yeah.
So, if you don't have dollars, we'll be like, hey, I got this jacket I don't wear that much, and it fits one of us.
The dog just barked. I bet you could hear that in the show.
I hate him. Yeah, so,
All right.
back to the show. Ian, what's your pitch?
So, all right.
Wait, it's trash, garbage, trash, trash.
Probably is.
Okay,
Depending on what you thought of Marcus's pitch last episode. So, last episode you pitched your idea about a video game that helped, like, antisocial people, like, kind of, relate to other human beings. So I had this idea not that long ago. But first I gotta kind of have to start with the story, kind of a little backstory. And inspired about a couple people I know. I know this kid. Hold on, I'm sorry.
You're gonna do I know them, too?
Possibly.
Are you gonna use real names?
No.
Please do.
I'm sorry. You'll understand what's so funny. So, there's this kid I know, and
Can you
known,
text me the real name real quick so I can visualize the person if I
Nope.
know them?
nope, known them since I was, like, pretty young, almost all my life. I said almost, that's not quite right. But anyway, they were homeschooled. They're kind of like, I don't want to say they were a wuss, but they never, like, stepped out of their bounds and, like, took risks, that kind of stuff.
Oh, so they were a wuss, right?
Kind of. But then they had a friend who's kind of the same way. Not so much doesn't step out, but more just, like, doesn't really socialize. That same thing about kind of like your pitch. So now these two people, they do a podcast. And just recently, they told me a story about how when they were done with their show, they looked up, there was a bat hanging on the ceiling.
Right.
And so they
both crapped their pants.
they didn't know what to do because they never took risks or anything like that. So all of a sudden, they were faced with this dire situation, and they weren't sure what to do. And so they, like, rigged together this box contraption to capture the bat. And then...
Is this just about two genuine wusses? And them having to deal with ridiculous situations, or not even that ridiculous situations, but situations
Just,
that
like,
are ridiculous to them.
situations that, like, having to, like, take up the, be a man and, like, step up and do...
Situations like, it's dark and scary outside, and I have to take out the trash. Chris.
Or, like, another situation, you're out taking care of your parents' chickens on the farm. You open up the thing, there's a possum sleeping in the nesting box. So you have to go grab your father's handgun, and you have to go shoot the possum. And
Or situations like, you get home, and you're about ready to bring groceries inside, and there's a snake on the sidewalk to get inside your house. So you set your groceries on the porch and climb the porch like a scared person to avoid the snake.
yes, so the whole idea of this video game is, like, just your character has to deal with these situations that are, like, and they're not, like, socially awkward situations like in your idea, but they're, where, like, you have to do something that's hard and it's taking some kind of risk, and you have to decide, is it worth taking the risk? Is it worth, can you do this? What's going to happen? And, like, but then I also wanted to be like, sometimes because you don't do this a lot, you go ahead and take the risk and something bad happens.
For instance,
Should I get on this bicycle that only has one wheel? you fall off. I don't know. It's a dumb idea, but
A unicycle.
yeah.
It's a unicycle, not a bicycle.
What? Way to make me look like an idiot on air. Anyway, but my point being, like, you get what I'm saying. But yeah, that's it pretty much.
What is this?
It could never really work, kind of like yours.
Well, yeah, Jeremy, I don't think you understood what I was trying to pitch, because he sent us some emails being like, it kind of sort of works this way. I'm like, no, because what I'm pitching is a game. I think what Ian will also be pitching is a game where, let's say, okay, I put on a VR headset to where I literally see my character walking home from whatever, and then I literally see a snake, and then I can literally do anything in the whole world.
Yeah, you're in real life.
I can climb the, I mean, not saying that I did this in real life, I can climb the porch to avoid the snake and carry the groceries there. I can do this. Or I'm playing the video game I pitched, to where I go to the McDonald's thing, and I can say anything I want after they mess up my order. I can drive away and not have to deal with that social interaction. I can say, hey, you messed up. I can be mean about it. I can say virtually so many things. I can curse, I can not curse, I can do whatever I want in this game, and they will react 100% appropriately to, as a human being would react in real life to that situation. There's a kind of one-to-one real life, I want it to be so real, the interactions of my game that I pitched, I think I slapped the mic, of the game that I pitched last time, to where literally after I do that for hours, I can get in my car, drive somewhere, and then not have as much social anxiety because I practiced at home in this stupid video game I invented last time.
So yeah, and the names of those two people that inspired the game, their names were Ivan and Marty, in case you were wondering.
That's good. That's good.
Thank you.
Yeah, not that we did any of those dumb bad things.
No, not at all. Dude, I'm like the coolest person in literally ever.
I have an employee who always calls me a dork, and I was like, no. I'm a cool kid, jock, athlete. Not a dork. I don't know what you're talking about.
Dude, I'm a jock. I did sports in high school. Now, we're not going to say what sport it was.
Swimming.
Cough, cough, swim team.
Swimming.
Hey, swim team takes a lot of endurance, though. It does.
Yeah, I didn't play sports.
Dude, you played football. I'm not going to say what kind of football. Hint, hint, flag football.
Hey, man, homeschool league, it was a joke. Yeah, someday, ask to see the pinky on my right hand, and then have me tell you the story about how it may or may not be one of my biggest regrets in life.
Marcus, let me see the pinky on your right hand.
Do you want to know the actual story, legit?
Go ahead.
Okay.
This is kind of a short episode, so go ahead.
I broke my pinky at football practice, which, I don't lie.
Mm-hmm.
I just tell people I played football in high school, which is sort of true.
That's fair.
Anyway.
When people ask what high school I went to, sometimes I don't say homeschooling, sometimes I say Abraham Lincoln, because I was on the sports team and I was very involved with that. And so, it was like I went to that high school. I mean, frick, I knew about the secret room above another room where, there was a bunch of graffiti. I'm not going to say where in case someone who went to AL, goes to AL, or works at AL watches this show. Anyway, but
yeah, so anyway,
I totally get what you're saying. You just kind of stretch the truth to make yourself seem cooler than you actually are.
Well, not cool, but also, dude, just, it makes more sense, and, I don't have to give it a backstory. Be like, I played essentially in a flag football rec league, because it's kind of a joke, because it was 8 men, and most homeschoolers are in athletic science. That's just science. So, I feel like if I explain the whole story, it's just, quicker and easier for conversation for me to just say I played football in high school. Anyway, I played flag football that was 8-man in a homeschool league. So yes, it was very much a joke. Long story short, I broke my pinky on my right hand senior year. Then I was given a thing that I could wear to sort of fix the issue. And essentially I had to keep my hand bent like so to force the bone back into place. I then let the quarterback on my team, who I'm literally going to be a groomsman in this guy's wedding in the next few months, Randy.
Oh.
So I literally let Randy convince me to play more football, to the extent that for my follow-up appointment to see this doctor, I ask, is there a thing you can give me to wear on my pinky when I play? And then essentially I let him know, if you say no, I'm just going to tape it a whole bunch and play anyway. And he said, well, anytime your finger's not bent, you're going to be messing up the placement of the bone that's inside your thing. But he said, if you're going to play anyway, let me give you a thing to not mess it up worse. So I then had a thing that kept my hand straight. It kept these two fingers straight no matter what I did.
Was it one of those like finger brace things, or?
So it was like a plastic cover that so it covered from here to like a little bit above them.
Okay.
And it had like a Velcro thing that would go around my thumb to keep it in place. So I essentially had like this big plastic contraption that we had to tape up a bunch because you can't have like hard plastic on your hand. So
Okay.
I essentially had like this much junk on my hand. I was a running back, so it wasn't too big of a deal most of the time. Anyway. Then essentially, to where all practices and games, pushed my bone to the wrong spot in my hand. So now, I'm going to post this on the Instagram. My pinky, you can't really see it on the thing, my pinky looks super jacked up. And every now and then I look at it and be like, it's not that bad. And then I put my other normal pinky next to it and say, what the heck? I made such a mistake in high school. And I literally have a weird looking finger that sticks out this bad. It hurts all the time when I bump it on stuff. It's not healed super great, or I would argue maybe not even all the way, because I let somebody talk me into playing a joke sport in high school my senior year.
It was your senior year, though, you know.
But what the frick, Ian? It's a joke sport. Was it like I was going to college?
That's fair. It's not like you're even playing for a real high school, playing a real sport
Yeah.
that most people.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
what a joke.
Man, the stupid things we do. That's okay though.
Yeah, so now check the Instagram if you want to see it. My pinky looks real dumb and stupid now.
Also, speaking of Instagram, now that you announced the Imagination Warehouse thing, Instagram,
Did
our
you change
Instagram
the
page
name?
is Imagination Warehouse. We changed it a while back just to see how it looked, and one of us forgot to change it back, so it's been that way for a while. If you haven't been able to find it, that's why. So.
Yeah, because we have so many people flocking ready to record our show.
Dude, we have like 20 subscribers on YouTube.
Dude, we have,
Okay, let me tell you a
we
story.
have 2 consistent watchers.
Let me tell you a story. We had 19 subscribers, and then I'm like, oh, I logged into my YouTube. And I subscribed to make it an even 20.
Oh, Ian, you're gonna make me die.
It's okay.
I almost legitimately ran out of breath.
So anyway, I guess we could wrap up the show now that we've gone off on many tangents.
Yeah,
Thank you, Jeremy, for sending in an idea, voting, and then also last episode we asked anyone to send in their idea for a level for that game. You did that.
oh shoot, let's talk about it.
Oh yeah, what was his?
I don't remember. Hold on.
I kind of remember it quick, maybe.
I think I literally have email pulled up, like right here, though.
Yeah, go ahead and pull it up if you can. I'll finish wrapping up the show and we'll just say it at the end. But thank you, Matt, for not giving Matt's Majestic Mind.
But thank you, Matt, for being the greatest person me or Ian knows.
Thank you, Tim Schoenfeld, for the theme song. And yeah, that's it. So, you got it pulled up? Or do I need to stall longer? Because I can do many things.
Just stall. Sing a song. Hold on.
Alright, I'm going to sing a song. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
He's cool, he's hot like a frozen sun. He's young, he's fast, he's the chosen one. People, we're not bragging. He's the American dragon. He's gonna stop his enemies with his dragon power. Dragon teeth, the dragon tail. He's a breathing dragon fire. He's a real live wire.
Okay, I got it. Okay, cool.
Alright.
Jeremy's pitch was, you go to like a party and there's a cake and there's one piece left, and then you and somebody you don't really know both go for the last piece of cake at the same time. What do you do? And the answer is, you say, I don't like cake, bye, and leave. Done. Frick. Figure it out.
I kind of like that because, so I would always get in trouble as a kid because I would do things like I'd pour myself a glass of milk, but I wouldn't fill it all the way because there wasn't much left, and I would leave, like, legit, no joke, like a tablespoon left because I didn't want to be rude and take the last of something, the last of the milk. So I'd leave this ridiculous joke amount. And it just made me look like a complete jerk, or word that we shouldn't say on the show. and I'd get in trouble
You genuine
because you
weirdo.
don't want to take the last of something.
You genuine dangus.
I'm just saying.
I do like how you sing the American Dragon theme song. That's
Dude,
very
I
good.
love that show. That show's great.
Dragging up.
I'm the Amdrag, man.
Oh, frick. I forgot how bad it is. Oh.
It's a pretty good show,
It's
though.
the
like-
most white trash dialogue, though.
I mean, the
Ah.
dialogue is kind of like,
The most white trash early 2000s that it possibly could be written as.
yeah, it's not like great dialogue, but it's dialogue and that's how a bunch of kids would talk to each other, you know? Like, okay, the grandpa's dialogue could be better.
Yes, but no, what I'm saying is the way that they speak and the words that they use are the most early 2000s in the worst way possible, which is also
For
a good
sure.
way, but the worst way.
So most of you guys probably even have seen the show American Dragon.
It's all on YouTube. Go watch it.
It's great. And then
Also-
let us know if you like season 1 cartoon better or the season 2 cartoon better, because they completely changed the animation. I hated it when they changed it,
they
but
grew
as
on
I've
it.
been rewatching it, and I forgot they changed it actually until I started rewatching it. And like, I think I'm on episode 23 now of season 2, and I've gotten used to it, and I much prefer. There's aspects about the season 2 that I much prefer, like his dragon is completely different, and he's actually a Chinese dragon, whereas in the first one he was a traditional European dragon, even though he was Chinese.
But European and what?
My uncle used to make that joke all the time, dude.
Sorry, I just guys had to try. I'm 80% sure my dog's stuck on the stairs. We should probably cut the show.
All right, we should cut the show. Catch you later. Ready?
When others are trapped in their bed.